WNIR.
Energy management from Ohio Edison.
I was away on vacation for a week, but when my bill came, it wasn't as low as I expected.
There are a couple of things to remember about your electric bill when you're on vacation. First, even though you're not home, many of your appliances are working. The refrigerator, freezer, electric water heater, security...
Oh, that's your job. You have a nice little pile of stuff over there.
Are you saying I have piles?
You have piles, how?
Gomers. It's called Gomer pile. Let me just sort this out here.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Good.
How come when the Cavs ever have a draft, they always draft... Now, they know what they're doing. I certainly would hope so. But they always pick the people whom you've told your friend they weren't going to pick. or no, maybe that's not quite it. They always seem to pick the guy you didn't think they were going to pick, but they say they have good reasons for picking him, then fine. Go ahead and pick him. I just hope it all works out.
I'm sure it will. They ended on an up note last year.
Well, yes, they did. That was the bad part of it. They should have ended on a bad note or something. It's funny how everything always works in reverse. They always reward the one who does the poorest. Isn't that true in life?
True, yeah.
Yeah, they always reward the one who does the poorest. Here, you did lousy. Here's something good. Maybe the draft should be a little different. It should be more like real life, where if you do well, you get rewarded. If you do poorly, see, that's what you should get. Anyhow, so they picked this nice young man from Oregon who is a point guard who scores a lot of points.
That's why they call him a point guard.
Well, very, very good. No, originally a point guard is a guy who goes, over there. No, I want the ball over there. See, he's pointing. Well, I think he's a fine young man. And then the other question everybody kept saying was, how come Miami didn't make the trade with the Cavs, which was claimed in the Cleveland papers and poo-pooed in the Akron papers?
The trade not involving Hot Rod?
Hot Rod Williams. Why would Miami take another scoring guard, a shooting guard, since they already have 2 shooting guards, and 3 shooting guards who all want to be starters won't a happy team make? So, maybe a deal is still in the works. Somebody told me, said, oh, don't think that deal is off, because they have to wait till August the 1st when the salary cap goes up. This is all that technical lingo out there. So we shall see what we shall see.
Yes, it'll be interesting.
They did not take Treg Lee, who grew up in our neighborhood, had trouble signing his name until he got to the 9th grade, but I'd never say that.
You would never say that publicly.
That's a rumor. He has a very nice father who was his coach. Treg wasn't taken at all. They only draft 2 rounds nowadays. In the old days,
yeah, they used to go on forever, I thought.
Well, the others can be free agents.
I see.
Sometimes your bargaining power is better. All right, now let's move on. Does Akron need a black Republican mayor? Ask Don Plasqualik. What do you think?
Well, anybody who's interested in running has the opportunity.
Willie Pippin III. I like that name. Willie J. Pippin III is the first known black candidate to seek a party nomination as mayor of Akron. He is going to run in the Republican primary. What does the black community of Akron, you who put down your boom boxes just to get attention? I'm allowed to say I'm a friend of the black community. I support inner city boxing and all that. You know, I'm a member of the Urban League. What are you talking about? Annie, what are you snickering?
I'm not snickering.
I mean, you ought to see me. I'm black in so many ways. I mean, I'm a get down person.
Oh, you are you?
Yeah. I mean, Eddie Murphy and me, we could rub elbows together. Get psoriasis, but we could rub elbows together. Anyhow, I'm a get-down person. I could conceivably vote, but I'm not eligible here. I could vote for a black Republican mayor for Akron. But I can't vote, so that leaves that out.
Well, I think a lot of people will vote for him.
I wonder...
He's young.
Well,
that
now,
may be one thing against
yeah, but
him.
you see, that's supposed to be contradictory. Black and Republican is supposed to be like an oxymoron, see? You can't be black and Republican because black people aren't supposed to be success...
Howard.
Oh, my. Are we suggesting that if you're black and Republican, you're successful? And if you're black and you're Democrat, you're just one of those people like the Stokes boys? Anybody got a screwdriver?
Dog food?
Whatever. No, I think there are more and more young blacks becoming Republicans because the Democrats haven't done anything for them this week. So we'll see. I'll ask the question, hey, anybody out there who's a black dude, would you vote for a black Republican for mayor in Akron? Hey!
You're going to have the opportunity to.
I think it's all very refreshing. I'm sure Mayor Pliskwalik doesn't take it seriously. Should somebody put it right over there? Who's trying to hurt my buddy Tom Sawyer? Ooh, another Democrat.
Uh-oh.
Some Democrat named Terry Tra-la, from Cincinnati. Well, of course, the people who are going to have the most say about redistricting, that will be mostly the Republicans, right?
Oh, probably.
So Tom Sawyer, the Republicans may have to bail you out on this. We'll see. I'll have to talk to them. Representative Terry Tranter, Democrat, Cincinnati, would add a lot of Medina County to Tom Sawyer's district, take them away from Donald Pease out of Oberlin, who's Oberlin. Oberlin, I mean, for goodness sakes, they haven't shaved their armpits in years in Oberlin. Anyhow, I mean, they're so liberal, right?
Howard.
They're like the French. Anyhow, so according to Terry Tranter of Cincinnati, a Democrat, he would redistrict. Now, this is his idea. It's not etched in stone.
No, but it's an idea.
To move half of Medina County over to Sawyer's district so Sawyer could have a real run for his money. Now, why would Tranter do that?
To give Sawyer a real run from his money.
Yeah, but the guy doing this is a Democrat. Why would he want to do that? Why would he want to hurt Tom Sawyer? Because he's angry at Tom because he didn't count the number of people in Cincinnati correctly? I don't know. Could Tom Sawyer be facing trouble? I think not. Tom's a good guy. I'm praising Tom Sawyer continuously for the job and the fine effort he did with the census. Everybody else is all, sort of itchy about it. Hey, if you didn't fill the damn thing out, you shouldn't be counted. If you're too stupid to know how to print, I mean, who needs you?
Who wants you?
All right, now that sounds kind of nasty, but that's true. We have some subjects here. First of all, I have some gossip. I'll get to the gossip in a minute. First of all, I want to complain about a television commercial. Now, I'm not complaining about the product because the product is wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Freedent's the one, Freedent's the one.
Gum.
It's a wonderful gum and it doesn't stick to your dental work. Okay, well, that's nice. The thing is that on this particular commercial, the person saying, oh, I'll just pop a stick in my mouth right now. She's a school teacher, and now they do a pullback on the camera, and she goes back to work with the children. One, you don't chew gum in school.
Rule number 1.
What's wrong with you teachers on the Freedent commercial? Freedent's the one. Oh, it's so refreshing, and it doesn't stick. Now, I'm not complaining about the product. I'm making fun of Madison Avenue. So all of a sudden you say, oh, what a nice lady. She's popping a stick of gum in her mouth. Then they pull back the camera and show you the children. All right, children, now let's work. You don't chew gum in school. And if you do, you bring enough for everybody.
That's right. Share and share alike.
Did you bring enough for everybody? Those were the first 2 basic rules of school. 1, you don't chew, but if you bring something that you're snacking on, you bring enough for everybody. The way those educators have changed our schools.
It's amazing.
It's disgusting.
What's going on?
Moving on. The lady who fell from the ride at Janet's been foaming at the mouth on this one. The lady who fell from the ride at Kings Island, it was her own blasted fault. She was triple drunk. And since she was triple drunk, she probably unlatched the latch, or they said she was trying to lean out the side to get a look at the helicopter, which was being flown in for the highly sober men at the beer garden who decided to save the other man who was being electrocuted in the pool. So the fact that she was drunk... Pond, pool, what's the difference?
Well, he fell in.
He fell in because he probably was tripped by a drunken lady's scream. You don't think the men were drunk, do you?
It's possible. Nobody seems to ask. Nobody asked if them. Don't tell me it's insignificant.
I'm not even discussing that.
Why not?
What does one have to do with the other?
Because it's just another attack on females. If she was drunk, she was drunk. I'm not condoning the fact that she was
All right, now
drunk.
wait a second. They were at the beer garden. What do you do at the beer garden?
You drink.
You drink beer. The people who got electrocuted...
We're near the pond. We're at the pond near the beer garden. How do we know they weren't drinking?
They were jumping in to save the man, an act of rescue and heroic.
What about the first man?
What about the woman? That's the purpose of the story. The woman who fell from the ride. She had a blood alcohol level of...
0.3 something.
Oh. 0.30. That's like having the whole fraternity drunk. So she probably had a hot...
No, they're saying that had nothing to do. She probably
has no right to sue.
Fell out of the ride.
No right to sue.
They're not saying it's 100% true that, she fell out of the ride because she was drunk.
The autopsy showed Ms. Taylor, age 32, had a blood alcohol level of 0.30. Now, Ms. DiGiacomo, no beginner is going to have a blood alcohol level of 0.30.
Exactly, no beginner.
She was a professional drunk. Allegedly.
A professional.
How much liquor do you have to drink to be 0.30, Ms. DiGiacomo?
I have no idea.
About 30 cans of beer.
Wrong. Her friend said she had about 8 to 10.
8 to 10 before she got on.
No, 8 to 10 beers that day.
8 to 10 beers that day.
Of course, she's going to have it before she got on.
If an ordinary person, says the coroner, if an ordinary person would have had a blood alcohol level of 0.30, they probably would have been unconscious. She was stone drunk.
Well, then the ride operator shouldn't have let her on.
Oh, now, here we go again. Pass the responsibility onto the barkeeper.
She shouldn't have been drunk. I mean, there's no doubt about it. She should not have been drunk. But I don't think that they can say that the reason she fell out of this ride was because she was drunk.
Of course, because she wasn't...
They can't possibly prove that.
I could prove it. She was unable to handle herself.
Yeah, but the rides are supposed to snap you in there. You are not supposed to move in those rides.
Was she in the ride alone?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought she was.
One to a car? Is that what they put in there? 2 adults won't fit in there, I guess. I will see.
I'm not familiar with this ride.
I assume there was only one person in that little thingamabob. I say she can't sue. She was definitely almost dead drunk, right?
She was drunk. There's no doubt about it.
She was really drunk.
But you cannot say the reason she fell out of this ride was because she was drunk.
He was a contributing factor?
You can't say that.
I can say it.
Because those rides, those restraints are supposed to keep you virtually immobile.
And she somehow fussed and fidget. She was leaning out the window to look. Oh, there's a helicopter. Did you know the 2 commandments that got zapped off the original 10? There was originally 12. A woman...
Of the 10.
That's right. On number 11,
no.
a woman shouldn't be a drunk, and 12, a woman shouldn't speed on the highway behind Howard through a school zone in a red Japanese sports car. It's on there. They just etched them out. All right, I'll just put this... I know this doesn't affect you at all. I'll put this right over there. She should have no right to sue.
I want an autopsy of the man who fell in the pond.
But he wasn't the one who died, was he? It was the 2 guys.
No, but why did he fall? Was he drinking?
Of course, he was at the beer garden.
But nobody says the reason that this man fell into the pond and the reason that these 2 other people died was because they were trying to save a drunk.
Well, you don't know that. Moving on. I'm a little bit curious. Blue Cross and Blue Shield. First, they came up with this marvelous preventative idea. Let's pay for certain exams while a person is healthy, thus preventing them from getting sick, so we, the insurer, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, doesn't have to pay for such high bills later. Preventative small costs. For example, isn't it better to pay for a tune-up than a whole engine replacement?
Yes.
So how come Ohio's Blue Cross and Blue Shield said, we don't think we like that idea? In fact, in Ohio, on the House floor, I guess they were making the decisions in Columbus, says Ohio women will not have health insurance coverage for preventative mammograms. A bill requiring private insurance companies to cover breast cancer exams was expected to move to the House floor, but it has been put on hold for the moment. tabled. Well, if it's on the floor, it isn't on the table. Let's continue. School jobs shouldn't go to outsiders. Are they suggesting that our new superintendent from down south, who never made that kind of money, is an outsider? Put that over here. Ohio's doctors are basically fripping hypocrites. Not all, just some.
Which ones?
Columbus, Dateline. Doctors in Ohio tried to have a law passed to make the patients reveal to the doctor if they have AIDS, but not to have the doctor reveal to the patients they have AIDS. These are the wonderful, trustworthy people we used to see on Marcus Welby. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this?
Center?
What they were doing was having a hearing on my friend, Paul Jones. He's a personal friend of mine. State Representative Paul Jones, who wants health professionals to report to the state if they test positive. All right, that's a wonderful bill. The doctors don't want that in Ohio because they're hypocritical. They just want the patients to reveal.
Well, that's not fair. If
That's
one
not
reveals, the other has to reveal.
They should both reveal. Let's move on. I'm looking at the story here. Front page of the Beacon. Nasty comments plague girl from biracial family. Well, that's all right. You're allowed to make fun of a person who's biracial. Oh, you're not?
No, you're not.
Well, see, what this is the I don't really care about youism. You see, as according to Spike Lee's Jungle Fever, and a show we did a while back where we had 11 people call who were from biracial families, when the white mother and the black male, etc., decide to marry or have children, they never think about the children. They only think of their own groinal pleasures. So it's a little bit hypocritical when the parents, who are not biracial, have a biracial child saying, oh, don't worry about it. Let's see. Don't worry about what other people think. Well, of course you do. Of course you worry about what other people think. In fact, there was somebody on Joe Finan's show made a nasty comment about me. Of course, when you're number one, people take shots at you. I shouldn't pay any attention to that. But of course, everybody is sensitive to comments. But no. See, in this case here, you can't say that, because the person who the comment is directed at, like this girl, is a victim, see? And nobody else can say to hoot, because they didn't care. Their groinal pleasures were more important. People of mixed races shouldn't marry. And everybody knows that, in the black community and the white. Spike Lee said so, so there it is.
No, he didn't say so.
Sort of.
He just kind of presented the problems.
Sugar substitutes, are they dangerous? When Metzenbaum isn't worrying about his son-in-law, or Sohio, which is now BP, he worries about sugar substitutes. Doesn't get anything passed for Ohio, but he worries about all the big stuff, right?
Sugar substitutes.
Well, see, the thing is, sugar substitutes like, let me get the correct name again. This is aspartame, okay? That's sweet and low.
Right.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And the only reason, a couple thousand people have complained that they're allergic to it. So people are allergic.
How many people?
Couple thousand. About 8.
So they're allergic to sweet and low.
Oh, well, no, they're
Or
allergic
they
to aspartame.
Okay.
So they can't have anything with sweet. So what? People are allergic to grass. People are allergic to air conditioning. They haven't outlawed that yet, right?
Not yet.
Well,
You had to come here.
You ought to come here. Our staff is all allergic to air conditioning. So you got a few people who are allergic. What was the other one? Oh, one lady had an allergic reaction to the McDonald's McLean burger.
Oh,
so,
the soybean stuff, or the seafood, seaweed, whatever.
So you can't eat it. So just because you can't have it doesn't mean we have to go without it, right? I think sweet and low, aspartame, all of that's a wonderful thing. But maybe if anybody out there has had an allergic hot flash reaction. You have hot flashes?
No.
Oh, Stan does. Don't laugh.
He wishes.
There goes my air conditioning allergy again. Anyhow, if you're allergic to or you have a reaction, what are you having maybe you have strange reactions to something. What do you think you're allergic to? The soybean fillers. Some people don't like monosodium MSG. Right? But that's not the same as Lowry seasoned salt. Did you know that? I found that out. All right, moving along.
Is that what you use?
Of course. I got a couple more here. And now here's today's gossip from the Akron School Budget. Am I allowed to say this?
Sure.
One? Okay. WNIR's Brian Friday Investigation Radio has uncovered a new piece of crapola. And we would like to share it with you because Carl Monday, run and hide. Because when Brian Friday Investigation Radio shows up on your door,
run and hide.
The Akron School Board, who is cutting this and cutting that, is going to spend $165,000 on in-school suspension program. What does that mean, Howard? Well, you see, the school is worried about its image, I-M-A-G-E, image. And in order to improve the school's image, they have to have a certain record of attendance to classify them in Columbus as a, what is that, exceptional or superior type school?
Acceptable, yeah.
Acceptable or something like that. So Akron Schools is going to spend $165,000 on an in-school suspension program. That means in the past, when you were suspended, they said, get out, you're suspended for 3 days. No more, because while they're out of school, then the school doesn't get any credit for their attendance, and they don't get money from the state, and they also don't get points down in Columbus or credit for the children being in class. So all of a sudden, Akron is going to improve its attendance by keeping all the people who are suspended in school, and even though they're not in school, they'll be counted present, which will improve Akron's image. Now, what they have to do is they got to get someone to guard these, they got to get someone to watch these children. So they're going to have to pay other teachers to watch the hooligans in the suspension room. That's what Brian Friday has discovered. Now, let's review that. $165,000, which was going to be spent on other things such as high-intensity reading, which is the new word for dumb.
Remedial.
Thank you. See, years ago, when you were in remedial reading, you were in the slow class. Now, we liberals don't want to embarrass anybody who doesn't care. We'll call it high intensity. Well, I bought a high-intensity lamp the other day, and it sure works good, but I know the kids in remedial reading sure don't. First of all, it's a liberal fraud to refer to children in remedial reading as high intensity, but that's all part of the wishy-washy wussy game of watering down our standards. Anyhow, so Akron Schools will spend $165,000 to pay teachers to watch the hoodlums, who will be counted as present now, and that money is going to be removed from the high-intensity reading for our remedial children, so the children who need help to learn to read won't get it at the Akron schools. However, in order to boost Akron's public relations attendance image more, according to Brian Friday Investigation Radio, Akron Schools will be offering $60,000 in cash for various schools. Must be the smoke in here or something.
Must be.
Must be. Offering $60,000 to 6 schools, 2 categories, $5,000 category. That's 12 times 5 is 60. For better attendance. So now that we'll have the hoodlums suspended in school and we'll be offering $60,000 in attendance awards, these types of moves will improve the school public image but do nothing for the quality of the children's education. So remember, you heard it first on Brian Friday Investigation Radio that we're eliminating $165,000 in the Akron budget to teach the children. We're spending we're spending 200. Add them together?
Add them up.
$225,000 to improve the image of the school. And yours truly says, we thought you'd like to know.